Welcome to Heart with Joy, a conversation of sisterhood. And today I'm delighted to be your moderator and your host on Joy's channel. So I'm very privileged to have been given this opportunity to be a moderator and a host of this channel and this conversation today evening. So as you can see, we have three beautiful ladies, lovely sisters that constitute our sisterhood, and I will quickly ask them to introduce themselves, and I will introduce myself last. So
I'm Joy.
Joy, thank you for spreading that love with us and for accepting us to be here with you on this channel and to have this chat with you.
Hello, I'm Bridget and I've featured on this channel before, so I'm sure a few of you know me already. Hi. Thank you, Alan, Joy, for coming through.
Hello, my name is Josephine.
Sisters, thank you very much for accepting to be part of this chat. We call this chat sisterhood because every time sisters meet, they have a conversation. And these conversations most times are not specific, titled, or tied to anything. So today evening, we will talk about just everything and nothing. And to you, our viewers, you'll be able to discern what makes sense for you. But we're here to discuss life of being in a sisterhood, life of relating with people, life of being sisters, and life of living, really, because we all go through so many things in life. And to be particular, I'm personally interested in the myths that surround relationships, because relationships drive our everyday life. So I will start with you, Bridget. When we talk about relationships, what comes to mind? Did you introduce yourself? Oh, yeah, I actually did not introduce myself. So to our guests, my name is Alan, and I will be your moderator and host for this session. Yes. When you talk about relationships, what comes to your mind?
Thank you, Alan, for having me. So when we discuss relationships, what comes to my mind is boy-girl relationships. Of course, relationships with family, with friends, with work colleagues, everyday, day-to-day relationships. It's daily interactions. So when I think of relationships, the first thing that comes to my mind is boy-girl relationships, like boyfriend and girlfriend, and then all these other relationships follow.
Joy, are there any myths that surround those kinds of relationships? Because I believe that society expects all the relationships that Bridget has just talked about to be a certain type of way. But are there any myths that surround that arrangement?
First of all, before I even get to the myths, for me, when I just hear the word relationship, I think about all sorts of interactions between two or more people, whether it is an employer and employee, whether it is an employee and a fellow colleague, whether it is a parent and a child, a boyfriend and a girlfriend, a husband and a wife. Any interaction between two or more people, for me, I would think that is a relationship. And one myth that I think cuts across all these relationships is the fact that society always expects that relationships, because we are in a relationship, whatever sort of relationship that is, it should be perfect, and that is far from the reality. No matter how close you are, I mean, personally, for instance, I'm very close with my mother, but we have our moments when we actually clash. We clash and maybe we'll not talk to each other for one day or so, and then we'll get back. It's the same thing with an employee-employer relationship. Sometimes your boss may not be so amused with you, but it doesn't mean that you're no longer in that kind of the contractual arrangement that you have with your employer. So things are not always perfect. The same thing when maybe with your boyfriend or girlfriend, things are not always perfect. You clash. Sometimes you will even break up, but you still make up. So relationships, I think, are not supposed to be perfect all the time. I think there should be just like a basic standard of of things, of the situation. It should be a certain way.
Do you have an idea of what that basic standard should be? Maybe you should enlighten us on the basic standards.
Thank you for that. I really think it should be really fun, because the relationship is like an everyday thing. Someone you're gonna see, someone you're excited to see, a parent, an employee, a colleague, a friend, a boyfriend, a fiancé. So it should really be fun.
Fun can be relative depending on who is relating with the person. So what defines fun for you? And guys, feel free to ask me any questions because we are on the sisterhood chat, and that means it's going to be an interactive conversation where we ask each other questions and respond to questions.
Tell us. Okay, fun. What is fun? If I am with someone and I'm having a good time with them, I'm free with them, I'm able to be my authentic self with them and share and even tell them my deepest fears, I feel like I'm able to have fun with this person. So if it's my boyfriend or my mom or my friend or my closest friend or old friend, as long as I'm able to share my weaknesses and strengths, I think the fun will just be natural. Yeah. So that brings me to my question.
You have a question?
Yes, I have a question. What is a healthy relationship? It doesn't have to be. It can be diverse. It can be like a boy girl or a sister kind of friendship with us here. That we cannot do them. So, Alan, what is a healthy relationship to you?
I will discuss healthy relationships from the point of your conversation. I like that you mentioned that a fun relationship should be with someone you can ably express yourself. And for me, the key word there was expression, ability to be confident within yourself and soul and spirit, the ability to be able to share your true self, whether they are fears or they are your great moments, someone that you can be able to share all those with. And I related back to Joy's conversation where she said that relationships can be dynamic. So healthy relationships, in other words, should be even dynamic because they cannot be static. So if they are dynamic in their different ways, but when you have the ability to express openly and be authentic with yourself, then for me that's a healthy relationship. I want us to go to the purpose of even having these relationships. I think purpose drives the end, everything, the end to the relationship. Because if your purpose is solid and you're clear about where you want it to go, you're clear about why you even started it in the first place, I think most times then you will fight and work towards, because relationships are cultivated in, I mean, the way you plant a flower, for example, you will need to, attend to it, water it, put some little manure, weed it if you have planted it somewhere where maybe it's most likely to be attacked by the pests, by other weeds, then you need to thin it a bit, things like that. So I view healthy relationships as the kind, because you will have to tender to it and be able to nurture it into the right and ideal relationship that you will have. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you will not have challenges along the way, but your purpose should be able to drive you and give you the patience to thrive even when it's a rocky moment or a rocky season. For me that's what I that's my view of what a healthy relationship can be.
Maybe to add on to what you say about a healthy relationship, we should not just be in a relationship without purpose, with no sense of direction. So there are friends that you have, and you find that it is always you who is on the giving end or investing in the friendship. You're the one who is reaching out, how are you doing? You're the one who is texting, or let's go out. You're the one who is paying the bills. What do you guys think? Is that how friendship or relationship should be? For me, personally, I believe it should be like two-way. We are all benefiting from the relationship.
Joy asks what you guys think, and this is to invite our viewers to comment in the comment section below of any thoughts that they're having, or ideas, or input, or something that the Sisterhood Chat should concentrate on in the coming episode. Please feel free to drop it right down there so that we can be able to get to it and continue the interaction even in the chat section.
Just to add on to what Joy had to say, how do you benefit? It should be constructive. You need to be able to benefit something out of it. It may not be money, it may not be cash-wise, but there's that extra benefit it needs to give you. Why you in a relationship? Why you friends with someone? Because there's some extra skill you're getting from them. Maybe there's something you admire about them. Maybe there's a passion that she drives in you. That you always want to look out for.
Interesting. You guys are very brilliant. Next time you will be relationship experts because you have shared quite great insights on how we can nurture relationships, how we can maintain healthy relationships, fun relationships, beneficial relationships.
What do you people think about communication in relationships? Can a relationship thrive without communication? You know how you have friends who maybe you'll take a year, you haven't called them, they haven't called you. Do you even call that a relationship? And then there are times you reach out to yourself, oh my god, you checked me, you no longer communicate with me, and what do you people think?
I think
For a relationship to exist, should you be communicating all the time?
it depends on the kind of person that you're relating with. Because let me say, like most gentlemen choose to not to communicate often with their friends. They can make it like a week or a month, but the moment there's one initiation, I want to see you, or we need to happen, or we need to go out, the response is always quite fast, and then they'll leave her. But it depends. If it is like a lady to lady, that one is because it's more of hi, say this, we share so much on a daily. So, but it's different from the kind of relation that we're talking about.
I was going to say that whereas communication is a very key element to sustaining any healthy and stable relationship, it's also not something that should either break at times a relationship. And I'll base that argument on the fact that, going back to what she just even mentioned, that what kind of relationships have you nurtured with this person?
Yeah.
Do you all understand each other? Do you trust me enough? Do you believe that even when I do not call or text, I still care about you that much and I still hold you dear to heart? And I say that because I'm personally one person who is not so good with text, with calls, with all those things, and because I've known that about myself, and again it goes back to self-awareness. Do you know yourself and your weaknesses and what you're good at? Do you know your partner's greatest strength, or the person that you really relate with? Because I've been aware about that weakness about myself, and I've openly shared it with my friends, with people I relate to. I tell them, you know what, I have this problem, and it at times occurs or even supersedes everything else, and yeah, I will fall culprit to it. But is our relationship strong and solid enough to bypass the day-to-day calls and trust that I am here for you when you need me? Because I've had a friend, she now lives in the US. So but we've been friends since 2009. That's quite a long time. Trust me, we do not talk every day. At times we spend months without even talking. But I know that she has my back. I have her back. When we talk, we'll speak as if these months have not. There haven't been a gap within. But that's because she appreciated me for who I am, and I appreciate her for who she is. So. Well, whereas it's important really, because I think again it goes back to your issue of communication. That's why even after 3 months, 4 months, we still get back and be able to touch base and talk. But also we need to be cognizant of our surroundings and the things that happen around us. And if you're cognizant with that, you will not break a relationship over unreturned phone call or unreturned text. Lives can get so busy, priorities start to change. Even when I get like 5 top priorities and you're down here, that doesn't mean that I don't care about you or that you don't hold a special place in my heart. But just that certain priorities have superseded, and that doesn't make you less of the person I care about. So for us to be, I didn't want to use the word mature, but to be mature about certain things. And again, that's why communication comes in key. When you feel that, we'll be able to approach the person and say, you know what, I haven't heard from you for these days. It really doesn't augur well with me, and is there something that I need to be paying attention to? Are you okay? Are you and relationships are not bank away. At times it's not transactional like that. Because if you are good with that and can check in, don't overly expect and demand so much from the other person to be able to do like you. We love differently, we relate differently, our love language is different.
That's right.
Yeah, so if you're a gift person and you have really made it, you have purposed yourself to give me a gift every month, my friend, don't expect that. Yeah, whereas at times, and I know people are human, maybe they will feel a certain type of way. I'm always giving and give. But what more can you attach to that friendship? You know, like, are you getting out of it beyond the gift? For you love it gift. Probably she's loving you in a different way. Maybe she's that friend who
You're praying for you.
every night, praying for you every night. Or she's that person, if you got into trouble and it was even one in the night, she will show up. You know, she will drop everything for you. She will travel for you. She will, you know. I was in some space and the lady said, is it possible to have friends who, for example, if you lost someone really, and they say, you know what, allow Alan to mourn in peace, allow her not to do anything, I will take control from here. I will manage the barrier arrangement, I will manage this, I will manage those kind of, such, you know.
You can imagine that's the kind of friend. They must be very rare.
Yeah, she could be that kind of friend.
I think, Alan, to get to that point of comfort where, you know, even if I do not communicate with this person, they have my back, I have their back. I think that relationship should have, stood the test of time. You've tried and tested this relationship, and you know that this person will always have your back. So the question would be, how do you know that this relationship is worth keeping, or, you know, this relationship is not taking me anywhere, it's not building me, and I just have to let go?
That's your discretion.
How compatible are you with that person? How, like, there's so many things that we are different at, but you need to look at those aspects that bring you together. So in many aspects, if you find yourself compatible, someone who can listen, someone who knows you, someone who is a listening ear, someone who can be there for you in different phases of the time. Maybe like 2 years, and this person has been there for me. This person knows how I react when I'm angry, or when I'm sad, or when I've lost something. I believe we need to look at compatibility with time.
Like Alan said, if I communicate and explain to you that level of comfort you bring me, am I able to talk about how I'm feeling with you? Are we at par? Do we understand each other? Because life happens. Everyone goes through a lot. Everyone is dealing with things you can have no idea about. So being able to understand someone and then also try to relate to them, like have some level of empathy and, you know, understand, just being an understanding human being.
You ask that question, and I'm curious to know what your perspective is.
When I know it's time to let go of a
When it's
relationship.
time to let go.
Honestly, for me, I don't think I can put up for so long if you are my friend, or, you know, whatever relationship it is that we have, and you keep taking me for granted. I think I would reach, you know, a point, you know, a breaking point, and I'll just say, you know what, nah. Or if, for instance, I'm the one who's always checking on you, you know, then what is that? There's no relationship. It's one-sided. I thought a relationship is, you know, always between two people. Yeah. So for me, that way, I would let go.
Yeah, and what I see from this conversation and what we are having and what everyone is sharing, it's clearly that it's to confirm that relationships are dynamic, and they cannot be the same everywhere. Everyone has their own style of doing, of relating, of, you know, whereas if Bridget can stand it, you can't stand it. If she can stand it. So again, it's to start within yourself and be really self-aware of who you are. What are your values? What are things that you can entertain, and what are things that you can't entertain? And with that, be able to discern on which one is working for you and which one doesn't work for you. And this is followed by communication. I mean, you need to be able to tell, you know what, with me, if 1, 2, 3 are not working out rightly this way, then it doesn't work for me. If this and this happens this way, then it works for me. So just to allow people the flexibility to be able to express on what grounds, or, you know, what constitutes their ability to relate and be with people, and what doesn't. So yeah, so our listeners, it's, you know, diverse. I'm certain that you have a different way you relate, or your own different definitions on what relationship should be, the myths that surround it. And leave a comment. Yeah, like she says, leave a comment, or leave a topic of conversation for our next episode about our next episode on the Sisterhood Chat. Yes, but thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you, our viewers, for creating time to listen in. And if you haven't liked the channel, so please click the like channel.
Like, subscribe, hit the
share,
notification bell.